afternoon. Here we are, Josh, in the upper 70s, but I was telling Liz, it feels hotter out there, feels warmer.
It definitely does. We have a cold front that's approaching, and it hasn't swung its way through just yet, but it's increasing the humidity.
Yeah,
so
that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, definitely making it feel a little bit on the stickier side outside. But the good news is it's increasing the clouds and eventually going to be cooling our temperatures back, as it's already done so. 77 degrees where we currently sit out towards PDX, with mostly cloudy skies now found anywhere from the coast to the high terrain of the Cascades and everywhere in between, as Mount Hood was enjoying a mostly sunny day, now turned cloudy, as our temperatures are slowly starting to cool, starting from the north to the south along the I-5 corridor, where we're getting a little bit more sunshine. Marion County points southward. That's where we are still holding on to those low 80s, but you too will start to increase your relative humidity value, the cloud coverage as well, and eventually cooling temperatures, as our temperatures right now are down anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees for much of the Pacific Northwest, as the number of rain-free days continue to add up. Now a grand total of 12. Last picking up measurable rain at the end of June with only 1/100th of an inch. And of course, that is feeding our rain deficit for the month of July, now closing in at nearly 1/4 of an inch. Satellite and radar showing that very weak system sliding its way through our area, increasing the cloud coverage, the relative humidity value, making it feel a little extra sticky outside, as the thunderstorm activity is starting to fire up out towards the southeastern locations. We're keeping a very close eye on this little cluster of cells where we could potentially see some of them turn severe after lightning pictures were coming in from the Portland International Airport, thanks to our courtyard camera out by the Marriott. And that's where we expect to see similar sights for us just much further to the east. That's where that severe thunderstorm potential is elevated to a marginal risk. A reminder, that's about a 1 out of 5 chance of seeing large hail, gusty, potentially damaging winds, but it's the frequent lightning increasing the fire concern. That's why the National Weather Service is keeping a red flag warning in place for north central sections of the state, eastern Washington, and of course out towards the southeast corner where that lightning is the biggest cause for concern. All right, for the rest of this evening, holding on to the mostly cloudy skies, temperatures for us here in Portland sliding back into the mid-60s, all as we prepare for this cold front to continue to slide its way through our area. Some of us, primarily out along the coastline, may be picking up on a stray raindrop or two, but then our skies quickly dry out. The sunshine returns along with the high heat, all as this ridge of high pressure begins to build over the western half of the country. That's where we are expecting to see some temperatures maybe early next week approaching the triple-digit mark. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that, as our weather models are really not honing in on that high heat, but definitely going to be warmer than what we've seen, as the cloud coverage keeps us cool and mild tonight. And then we expect to see more sunshine by tomorrow afternoon and evening. That's only going to be a continued storyline for us, not only through the end of the week, but into the weekend and the start of next week, as those winds transition out of the northwest to directly out of the north. But no real rain accumulation expected with this front, maybe a couple of 1/100ths of an inch at best is a possibility. All right, tonight here in the city, falling back to about 60 degrees. Here's what's on tap for tomorrow. The coastline, close to 70 degrees for some of us, warming things back up to the upper 70s, low 80s for the I-5 corridor. Breakdown in the cloud coverage. Summer heat remains out towards the east, along with the fire concern, as our temperatures begin to warm up in elevation. For your Owls Garden and home forecast, keep the watering can and hose close at hand. It's going to be a dry stretch of weather, really kind of taking us into much of next week. Again, it's about Tuesday, Wednesday. That's where some weather models are leaning close to the triple-digit mark. I wasn't going to be that aggressive with our 7-day forecast. I think, if anything, we will be in the upper 90s. It's still a week out, subject to change. And you got to keep in mind, sometimes our weather models get excited and they say, hey, we're going to jump full into the hundreds. Maybe not the case just yet.
You might have to simmer down now, weather models.
Yeah,
simmer down.
We don't want the triple digits.
But this would be our first kind of big heat wave of the summer, wouldn't it?
It definitely would be, and it would also be the longest prolonged amount of 90-degree heat as well.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Layoffs coming